golden black checked silks of Cambridge studs Brendan and Jo Lindsay, based on the Wellington Rugby Club in New Zealand, are now well known around the world. The recent deeds of Probabeel and Zuzarella in Australia and Hello Youmzain in winning the Diamond Jubilee Stakes at the famous Royal Ascot meeting in the UK are part of a stellar year for Cambridge. And Hello Youmzain has now taken up duties in his first stud season in 2021.
Dream of dreams flashing home. Hello Youmzain, a dream of dreams.
The tin man is beginning to close on the far side, but it's Hello Youmzain who holds on to win the Betfair Sprint Cup.
Well, Scott, it's already been a wonderful spring for Cambridge stud in New Zealand, in particular here in Australia, with the great performances by Probabeel and Zuzarella.
Yeah, it's a great time of year, the spring. Everyone's dreaming with foals arriving. You think they're going to be champions, and obviously young horses coming through the ranks, you think they're all going to win Group 1s, but particularly with Zuzarella and Probabeel, there's a lot to be excited about.
Tell me what it's like watching from afar. I mean, obviously New Zealand's been in lockdown as well. You know, it means a lot to everybody on the farm, doesn't it, to see those great results in the big Australian races?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, I think. As you know, on all farms, there's a lot of hard work that goes in behind the scenes, and the same in the racing stables to get to that point. And when it all comes off, it's a hugely satisfying thing. And I guess more so lately with, you know, lockdowns and things going on, I think it provides a little bit of, I suppose, puts a smile on everyone's face when they're stuck at home on the couch. It's, yeah, the Australian racing's been a bit of a saving grace for a lot of people, I think, who haven't been able to do much else.
Well, also hugely exciting to welcome back Almanzor, but I tell you what, Hello Youmzain, of course, your first season sire in 2021. It feels as if we've been waiting, well, we have been for years, really, but it's so great to see him arrive safe and sound in New Zealand.
Yeah, you're right. It does feel like a bit of a long wait. It seems a while ago now that he won the Diamond Jubilee at Royal Ascot, and we've been waiting to get him down here. Brendan was the only person that had seen him up until a few weeks ago. So yeah, it's certainly hasn't disappointed, and it's been great to have him here and settled in. And I think when everyone does get the chance to come and see him, they're going to be hugely impressed by him.
So what do you see now? As you say, you've all had your eyes filled with Hello Youmzain. What do you see in him? You know, when you've seen him arrive, you've seen him relaxing in his paddock. What's he like as a stallion?
Yeah, he is a real eye-catching horse, actually. Like he's built in the mould of a sprinter, so he's got that really masculine look about him, a lot of strength, and probably maybe not so much typical for a sprinter. When he moves, he walks so well, and he's a really athletic horse. So that's hopefully something, you know, he'll pass on to his foals. But he's kind of as advertised in the photos and the videos we'd seen. But you know, until you lay your own eyes on them, it's good to see them for yourself. And yeah, he's just, I think, everything we could have hoped for, and he's going to really add another, I suppose, more early maturing, muscular type to our stallion roster.
Hello Youmzain deep inside the furlong, still has the advantage.
Well, of course, you know, it is a while since he won that Haydock Sprint Cup and really put himself on the map as a Group 1 winning sprinter. You know, tell me about his race record, because, you know, that's what we're looking for here in Australia in particular. And the sprinting categories seem to be matching up a lot more these days. In Europe, the sprinters really are of such a high calibre these days.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really like about his race record is that he was able to do it over 3 consecutive seasons. You know, he wasn't one of those horses that just had one peak and that was it. He came out early, he was an early 2-year-old, went on to win a Group 2 at France at the end of his 2-year-old year. He came back again at 3 and did it at Royal Ascot, firstly placing in the Commonwealth Cup, then beating older horses in the Haydock Sprint Cup. And that's when we got involved with him, and it's, I suppose, always a bit nerve-wracking to keep a horse like him in training as a 4-year-old, but he was able to carry on that form and I guess go even one better, winning the Diamond Jubilee. So he showed that toughness, he had a great attitude, he was obviously a very sound horse. So, you know, those are the kind of things that I think breeders want to pass on to the progeny that they breed.
Skeptical and Hello Youmzain fighting it out.
And we know, of course, that the great record Henry Plumtree has in selecting these horses. I mean, you look at horses such as Zuzarella and you know, so many more before that. And this horse to go on and win that Diamond Jubilee, once Cambridge Stud was in the ownership, I mean, that was just extraordinary for the entire farm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hugely significant thing. I think the Royal Ascot would be as big a stage as any in the racing world, and to have a horse, you know, in co-ownership with a stud all the way down in New Zealand is a really significant thing for our industry. It was, I think, 2:30 in the morning or something like that, so there was a lot of people sitting up in the middle of the night, you know, yelling at the TV. So of all the things you dream about that, you know, we might be able to achieve at Cambridge Stud, I don't think anyone would have dreamt that we were going to, you know, have a colt winning a premier Group 1 sprint at Royal Ascot. But it's just one of those, you know, great days, and I think it will live long in the memory of everyone here at the farm.
And Hello Youmzain, of course, by Danehill's son Kodiac, who's a three-quarter brother to Invincible Spirit, sire of I Am Invincible. So it all is, you know, it's just perfect for down in Australia. But hasn't Kodiac done a wonderful job up there in the Northern Hemisphere?
His pedigree was something that really appealed to us initially. As you said, Kodiac is a son of Danehill, who we know has been so successful down here. He's a three-quarter brother to Invincible Spirit, so he has some parallels for people in this part of the world, but at the same time, Kodiac's not a horse that's had exposure down here. He's a really well-credentialed horse in his own right. He started at a pretty lowly fee, and he's done it the hard way, and he's done some pretty remarkable things. You know, he broke a world record with 61 two-year-old winners in a season. He had 9 individual stakes winners, stakes winning two-year-olds last year, and he's been twice crowned European champion two-year-old sire. So he's a really great influence. He's a influence of speed and precocity, and I think one that will really suit this part of the world. And on top of that, Hello Youmzain's also out of a mare by Charmadale, and of course he's another horse that has had a really good impact in this part of the world. So we felt that the pedigree was really appealing and something that would really suit, you know, Australasia in particular.
And he's obviously had huge support. Both Hello Youmzain and Almanzor both have the book full sign up. But it is really great to show these horses. I mean, the people that are sending their mares, they want to have a good look at these stallions on the big screen. And also, of course, you know, through the yearling sales that are going to be coming up too, to really see what he looks like and present him here.
Yeah, it's one of those, I guess, anomalies with the shuttle stallion that the book full sign was up before anyone had seen him. But you know, now that he's here, I think no one's going to have any reservations about breeding to him, and it's a shame we couldn't have our normal stallion parade weekend, but with the world we're living in and you know, the technology we've got, you can get a really great feel for these stallions online. And yeah, he's a horse you don't have to look at for too long to realise that he is a, you know, a really good type, and looking forward to his progeny and sales and things like that. If he can reproduce that, then, you know, things will be looking really good for the future.
Wonderful seeing Almanzor back. I mean, he's furnished out even more. He's always been a stunning looking stallion by Wootton Bassett, we know, of course, who's now come down to Coolmore in Australia too. And the Ifrage line has done so well. We know Melody Bell's out of an Ifrage mare, but it is just wonderful how Almanzor has been going not only through the yearling sales, but also he's even had an early runner there in the 2-year-old ranks in New Zealand.
Yeah, Almanzor's just gone from strength to strength, really. He came down here with a really great profile, and it's probably fair to say, you know, Wootton Bassett was pretty unheralded at that stage, but he's just gone through the roof with his reputation. Obviously with Coolmore buying him has been a big thing, and that just really set the scene for the yearling sales. And, you know, I don't think anyone here thought it was going to go quite as well as it did. From that first Gold Coast yearling sale, it just one thing led to another, and it was a great sales season for him. And, you know, for a New Zealand-based stallion to be the leading first season sire in Australasia, it's quite a significant thing. I wasn't able to find who the last horse to do that was, but I can't imagine it's happened very often. So that's been a massive tick in the box, I guess, and the next step is they've all gone into these great stables, and as you pointed out, he's already had his first runner, which I wouldn't say was an orthodox debut, but he just clearly showed that horse has a lot of talent, and when he irons out, you know, a bit of greenness, if he'd cornered a bit better, I think there's no doubt he would have won that race. So that was exciting, and I guess now we're at that stage where the rubber starts to meet the road, and we'll be really looking forward to seeing more and more of his horses on the racetracks.
And Embellish, your wonderful son of Savabeel, we're really going to see what he's made of in the next year or so.
The signs are really positive for Embellish. I think that third year can be a really good guide to, what's out on the ground, and, if a horse is popular in year 3, it's a really good endorsement for the foals that they've left, and Embellish is more popular than ever this year. I think, it might surprise a few people when I say that he's probably going to be our busiest stallion this year. So he is such a good value horse. I think he's a great value proposition for the New Zealand industry. He's accessible for anybody, and he opens up that really important Savabeel sire line at a price that is incredible value. So that's obviously been seized on by people this year, and he's been really well supported. So he's another young, well-credentialed horse that the signs are really positive for at the moment.
Johnny Get Angry is pulling clear.
And obviously a lot of people that are at the farm now, still feel so fondly about old Tavistock. He's no longer with us, sadly, but gee, it's just incredible. Week after week I'm seeing in Australia these wonderful Tavistocks, in particular heading for the Fillies and the Colts Classics later on in the spring.
Yeah, we're seeing the benefit of those, I think, better crops that he bred at the end of his stallion career really coming through now, and I think he had 10 stakes winners in Australia last season. So he's hitting his straps like we, all had faith that he would do, and you look at his runners to winners statistics and all those things. He does a really great job in Australia, and he just had another stakes winner as a broodmare sire, so that side of things is starting to kick into gear as well. So it's unfortunate that we don't have more crops coming through. We've got one more yearling crop this year, which will be his last, but we're going to see his influence through his daughters and his sons going forward, and it's, I guess, really rewarding for everyone at the moment to see him doing so well in Australia, because we've been kind of hanging a hat on that happening for the last few years.
So all systems go for a fantastic spring at Cambridge Stud.
Yeah, it's that time of year. The sun's shining again, and everyone's in good spirits, so we'll cross our fingers and hope there's a bit more to look forward to down the line.
While Hello Youmzain isn't sponsored by Cambridge Stud on the G1 Goldmine platform, he's been very popular with mare owners who are members of G1 Goldmine. Looking at stallion match for New Zealand-based sires, there have been 8,300 individual mare searches this year, with 112,000 overall. 22,000 were 2020 matches, an average of nearly 20%. 763 mares were matched with Hello Youmzain, including 3,700 individual stallion match searches, with 30% being 2020 matches, 10% more than the average for all other stallions. Broodmare sires who produced the best matches included Ifrage, High Chaparral, Encosta de Lago, Savabeel, Monsieur, Sayuni, Galileo and Fastnet Rock.